The creation of a printed circuit begins in the technical department, where the operators check the client's project using special software stations, and then they create all the equipment needed for production. If the PCB is multi-layer, the first step is the production of the inner layers through a process of photo exposure and etching on thin laminates. Some pre-preg foils are added to those thin laminates, as well as 2 copper sheets, joining all together using a hot press cycle to obtain a final laminate with the required internal copper layers. Target references are then identified and drilled using an X-ray drilling machine, so that, with a numeric computer control program created by the technical, a high-precision machine drills the circuit holes in the correct positions. Those holes are treated with 1 chemical deposition of graphite on their walls in order to conduct electrically. Then a photosensitive film, dry film, is put on both sides of the laminate and is exposed photographically by applying a film with the image of the circuit. The dry film not exposed to the light is removed to clear the copper tracks and pads. An electroplating process deposits copper material on these areas and on the walls of the holes, and then the electroplated copper is covered by electroplated tin for protection. After this process, the dry film is removed from the circuit. Then the unprotected copper is etched away, and finally the tin itself is stripped away, thus obtaining a metal track circuit with copper conductors, pads, and plated trough holes. At this point, the circuit is spread with a light-sensitive lacquer that creates on the circuit. Through a photographic process and the subsequent curing, a protective layer which leaves the pads and holes free for soldering processes. Solder mask. Then the legend is printed directly on the PCB with an inkjet printer before being cured. The circuit is now ready to receive the treatment of copper surface finish. The possibilities are many. In the case of hot air leveling, the circuit is dipped in a fused alloy of tin and then leveled by a blast of hot air. An electrical test at 100% occurs. Finally, the correctness of the circuit connections are tested. As the printed circuits are produced in panels, their separation requires a final milling, preceded at times by a V-cut scoring. The circuit is now finished and is carefully assessed through specific checks before packing and delivery to the customer. Producing a printed circuit board of good quality requires great experience in many different processes using high-tech machines. We have been doing it for over 20 years.